Alright, so this is my Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 5 review, and it starts off with some urban planning by Grief Karga and a bunch of engineers, and I don't know if Grief Karga rules like this or the engineers just assume that because previous high magistrates ruled like this, but he made a suggestion and the engineers enthusiastically agreed with him, which was hilarious, but I don't know, just Grief Karga doesn't strike me as an egomaniac. So, like I said, I assume that they just figured that that's how they should respond, not, well, that's crap. But before they got very far in the meeting, he got to the railroad, and before he could get any further, he sees pirates. So he's out on the balcony looking up, and then his protocol droid comes in informing him that one of the pirates, the consular or something, wanted to meet with him. And then it turns out he was being hailed by Gorian Shard. So they talk. Gorian gives him an underhanded compliment about the way he looks, and which you've got to admit, I mean, at this point, why not call himself royalty the way he's dressing? So, it it basically, he was basically saying what the audience is probably thinking, that he looks regal as opposed to just your run-of-the-mill leader. Now, this is another error. Last week I mentioned why is Bo-Katan asking about the helmet thing when they first met. She mentioned that she used to be a Death Watch Mandalorian, so she should know how to deal with the helmet. This week, Gorian Shard said, "Do not hail me again unless you want to surrender." Well, he was the one who hailed Karga, not the other way around. Unless that's just, Gorian Shard being Gorian Shard, that he's just can't accept that if something didn't go his way, that he might have been the one who instigated it. I don't know. So then he looks down and he sees he sees a pirate ship attacking the people. He's telling the protocol droid to help rescue the people, and he said, "My city." But so is Navarro sort of like Coruscant, that the city is the entire planet? But so he calls Captain Taba, and the way he bent over gave you Princess Leia flashbacks, Princess Leia vibes for when she recorded a message to give to Obi-Wan. Now, so he records a message, and to be honest, I really thought he was trying to get a hold of Din. But no, he went through the proper channels. He called upon the New Republic. So Captain Taba is, talking to one of his colleagues, and they're like, yeah, the New Republic is swamped. You're not going to get anything. So he decides to go to Coruscant himself to lobby for the help he needs. And he's telling he said he's a I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce. I'm not going to even try. And I felt for this guy, because even though the New Republic is supposed to come off as a bit cold and uncaring, on the other hand, he makes good points. They're stretched thin. And even Elia Kane, who, well, granted, she had ulterior motives to all of this, and Captain Taba didn't trust her as far as he could throw her. You could see that he was looking at her with suspicion. And he never even heard of Navarro. This is how much nobody gives a shit about the Outer Rim. They've never even heard of Navarro. And Elia's like, yeah, I've heard of it, but I've even been there. But they didn't sign the charter. And as much as it's like, you should help Navarro. On the other hand, you can't blame them for saying, I've got to nix it. We've got all these other member planets that need help. So, on the one hand, you're screaming that they should help Navarro, but on the other hand, they're not wrong to say that we've got to take care of our member planets first. Because why be a member if you're just gonna, drop everything and do whatever? So I felt for the New Republic here. Again, they were trying to make it so. Now, obviously, the New Republic had no idea what they were getting themselves into with these charters and these member planets, because obviously there aren't enough staff to properly govern the size of the New Republic that they have. So, on the one hand, you'd think that they would, I don't know, have foreseen this, because, like Mon Mothma, she was in the Senate. She knows how this thing goes, and she's supposed to, I think she's still the leader of the Republic at this point. And even if it was Leia at this point, they both were part of the rebellion. They're not stupid. They understand how vast this area is. So there's really no excuse for them to be so woefully unprepared. So there's got to be incompetence at some level. Because, come on. But anyway, so Captain Taba is pleading to no avail. So he ends up leaving, and he even tries to give this theory. Now, whether he actually believes this theory, which we find out later he actually does believe this, he thinks that the pirates attacking has something to do with the Imperials starting to reform and the Empire trying to reform. Which, considering Elia's response, her body language, yeah, that's probably what's happening. And just the fact that he brought up that theory, it's like, yeah, that's probably what's going on. So he leaves, and then we see him flying, and I figured he was going to get Mando. He was going to get Din. I just didn't realize he was going to fly right to his planet. I thought he had some way of communicating with him. Well, he found them, and of course, the Mandos weren't thrilled to see him, and Din was the only one who knew who he was. And they find out that R5 is the one who directed him to their covert. And so that answers the question whether R5 is still around, because he disappeared for a while. So he told Din what was going on. Even though he gave him the hollow message, he basically told him what was on the message. And he's like, I just thought you'd want to help your friend. It's like, see ya. All right, do whatever you want. But, he's so sweet. It's like, I know you're going to relocate, but I have no desire to tell anyone where you guys are. And as much as I loved seeing Taba again, it kind of was a bummer that his partner in crime wasn't there. And for those who don't know who his partner in crime is, it's played by Dave Filoni. I don't remember his name. Actually, now I don't know if they didn't already kill him off. But anyway. So, he flies off. He tells Din his theory, and, he just figured you would want to help your friend. So they all get together for a powwow. Everybody's there, including the foundlings and, of course, Grogu. And Din is making his case. And then Paz Vizsla comes up. And I had a feeling he was going to convince them to join Din. But then he started speaking. I'm like, oh. And then the pause and that they should help out Din. So, but it was interesting that it was Bo and Din. It's like Bo and Din suddenly became a clan. Which, I guess because Din brought her back into the covert. But yeah, I was not expecting that, because Bo had absolutely nothing to do with this except for the fact that she probably agreed with Din from the get-go, because, that's the kind of person Bo is. And so they make a plan to attack the pirates. And Bo has a voiceover while they're actually doing it. So Din flies in the N1 with Grogu in his lap. So I don't know if Grogu just decided to sit in his lap, or if R5 is in the N1 with them. And so then we get the battle, the multi-layered battle, which was so awesome. And one of the aliens that was chasing down, and I think he found it personal, because I think he might have been one of those who was in the dogfight around the asteroids. But, he reminds me so much of Cardassians. He really does. He really does. And, so they're chasing after Mando, which this was the idea, was that he was going to draw the pirates out so they could get to the planet and secure it. Now, at one point, Greef Karga sees Din, and he calls out to him on the radio that, thanks for helping, and he just seemed like it was the most obvious thing that he was helping. He didn't look up and say, wait a minute, I expected New Republic or something. So I wonder if Taba told him that, oh, by the way, I let the Mandalorians know about this, so expect them. Because, well, even though it was undecided when he left, he had a pretty good idea he was going to help. Just like, even if didn't want to, try to ignore Grogu, he still had to go back and save Grogu because so yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense, is that he knew that they were coming. So and in a bit of realism, he's not wearing his damn cloak, the damn robe, while he's leading citizens away from the city, and he's looking on so sad. But there were still people who stayed behind, whether it be because they couldn't get away or they were just like, no, we're not leaving. But the pirates were acting like complete asses. Let's use wildlife for the shooting gallery. Let's get drunk off our asses. I mean, they were just, ugh. So, they sobered up really quickly when the Mandos came. They really did. It was so much fun. So, the fighting ensues, and I don't know where the rest of the foundlings were, because the only child we saw was Grogu. And because I thought that the armorer might have been babysitting the foundlings or something, but no, she just nonchalantly got into Karga's office and started beating the crap out of these pirates with her hammer. So she took care of the snipers, so Paz Vizsla and the others could advance. And so after all was said and done, they Gorian Shard was, didn't want to retreat. I'm just going to call him Cardassian because I honestly have no idea what species he is. And like I said, he definitely reminds me of a Cardassian. And he just took off. He's like, coward. It's like, or maybe he just simply knows when to give up. So Gorian Shard wasn't going to give up, but the pirates were all taken care of. And now when they showed the pirates going towards the citizens and Greef Karga, I swear there were Jawas there. There were briefly Jawas there, and suddenly they're gone. So they win the day. And I just loved it. I'm taking you up on your offer for that plot of land. And so the idea is that the Mandalorians are going to now live on Navarro, at least until they retake Mandalore. Because now this was a really weird scene. So everybody's celebrating and going about their business, getting situated. And I'm like, is nobody going to go back for the foundlings? Because unless they're just not showing them, I don't think they came with those little foundlings. Except for Grogu. So, unless, I guess they may have just not shown that they were with them. But Paz Vizsla comes up to Bo-Katan and says that the armor wants to see her. And you could see on Bo's face, oh shit, what did I do? So she goes down. And she just waits for her to start speaking. And the armorer starts telling her something. I couldn't understand it. And then she looks at her and says, you know, when you mentioned you actually saw a mythosaur, I thought that that was just a legend. So you are the one who's going to reunite our people because you walk both worlds. And she asks her to take her helmet off. And Bo's like, is this a trick? Which I don't blame her. I thought it was. I'm like, wait a minute. The whole point is for you to never take off your helmet. Why are you... So it sounds like the armor is becoming more accepting that, okay, they don't think like me, but I'm not going... I think we still need to be united to retake Mandalore. So she basically tells Bo that you're going to be the one to reunite us. And like I said, Bo's like, wait, what? What's happening? So, you know, obviously this is what she wanted, but, you know, everything is so strange for her that she's just... that this just catches her off guard. So they walk out, and I honestly thought that when they walked out that Bo would have put her helmet back on. But maybe the armor told her not to. So they walk out, and she mentions that Bo is going to go out and find other Mandalorians and bring them back to Navarro and reunite the people. She doesn't explain why. Nobody knows. So far, the armor is the only one who knows about the mythosaur. And Paz is not thrilled that she's showing her face. And, you know, she just said she walks both worlds. So, inexplicably, the armor seems to have gone from these are not real Mandalorians to they just think differently. That's fine. So yeah, that's why this scene was so weird. I mean, she had Bo take off her helmet. She suddenly wants Bo to reunite the people. I don't know. Maybe I'm just paranoid, but I'm just... I question what she's trying to do. I mean, it's possible she really has Mandalore's best interest at heart, but the sudden turnaround's just weird. Maybe because Bo was the one who saw the mythosaur, and she's just like, if she's the one who saw the mythosaur, maybe I'm being too hard on people who think like her. Could be that. So anyway, unless she asks Din to accompany her, maybe we're gonna have an episode or 2 or 3 where there's no Din, and it's just going to be Bo-Katan that's traveling the galaxy. I don't know, but Din didn't seem like he just looked at her, you know, nodded, and they nodded at each other. So maybe there's an unsaid decision between them that they're gonna do this together. Because, I mean, technically she's still a Mandalorian, so to have the show leave Din and Grogu and just focus on Bo-Katan isn't changing the name of the show any. It's not like the Book of Boba Fett where we had like what, 1 or 2 episodes just Mando and you barely saw Boba Fett. I mean, granted, it was by design because the actor was doing something else, but it made you wonder. It's like, wait a minute, where's Boba in all this? So at least that situation isn't going to happen. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Din accompanies her, and of course Grogu, or if this is going to be her going off on her own. Let's see if there's anything I missed in this episode. I think I covered it all. Oh, duh, I missed the ending. So we see Captain Taba checking something out. And it's a New Republic ship that was attacked. And the crew are dead. And this is the transport that was supposed to take Moff Gideon to trial. And it never made it. And Captain Taba's like, I knew it. I knew he never made it to trial. Which makes his theory about the pirates and the Imperials working together, suddenly it's like, yeah, we need to believe him because he figured this one out. Even though it was a open rumor, but still, the rumor had to start from somewhere. So anyway, so they find out that it was Mandalorians that released him. Now, I thought I saw a trailer where Bo is fighting her former Night Owl compatriots. So maybe they're the ones who retrieved Moff Gideon, because if they're mercenaries, then they have no, in theory, they have no moral compass. They're just like, yep, you're paying us. Yeah, we'll do that for you. So that's my theory. It's going to be them. Now, Captain Taba was shocked that it was Mandalorians. And all I can think of is he thinks that Mandalorians are a monolith, that they're either on one side or the other, because we all know that that's not how people work. But also, when he first met Din, he had assumptions about Mandalorians, and Din proved him wrong. So why does he still make assumptions about Mandalorians? I do not know. So, I hope we see him again, because I really, really like him. And of course, because they teased that Moff Gideon has been released, that he escaped, maybe next episode we'll see Moff Gideon. Where and how we'll see him, but I think we're gonna see him next episode. But the question is then, what is Elia doing on Coruscant if he's been released? I mean, why not just give up pretending to be a New Republic stooge when when her boss has escaped? She has no reason to be there anymore. If her purpose was to help him escape. I mean, it's possible that because she's a communications officer, it's possible that she's just spying and seeing how much info she can get on the New Republic to feed to Moff Gideon. That's also a possibility. Or also, maybe she's taken it upon herself to, like Dr. Pershing, basically punish those who've betrayed the Empire and joined the New Republic, which I think I said this earlier in the video. I'm kind of bummed we didn't see Dr. Pershing. I was really curious to see what he was like after the mind flaying. You know, just to see how much memory did he lose, you know, what is his predisposition? Is he the same? Does he have the same attitude he did before, or has he become hardened? I mean, I would have loved to have seen Dr. Pershing as well. And hopefully, my latest theory. Now, I don't know how the Mind Flayer works, so they claim that it uploads your memories into the machine. But what if it just blocks certain memories? So it could be unlocked by someone who knows how to unlock them, say Grogu. You know, the way Luke unlocked his memories. Maybe to his own detriment because of the PTSD episode he had last episode. But maybe Grogu will do the same thing for Dr. Pershing and give him his memories back. So even if he were to go back to the Empire, Grogu would make him realize what a bitch Elia is. And then, like I said, her motivation. She did tell Dr. Pershing, speaking of Elias, she did tell Dr. Pershing that, you know, she didn't have a choice as to what she was going to do. So, does that mean her parents were part of the Empire and so it was just assumed she would join the Empire too? I would love to know what she meant by that. And maybe there is a redemption arc for her where she realizes that she's not forced to be a part of this empire. Whether it be because she thinks back fondly on her time with Dr. Pershing, even though she was, you know, blowing smoke up his ass. Who knows? But maybe there's a redemption arc. You know, first we have to get Dr. Pershing's memories back of Elias' treachery. And then we have, and other stuff depending on how much memories he lost. And then we might have a redemption arc for Elia. Let's see, what other speculations do I have? Last week I speculated that the armor was going to end up the way Bo-Katan was in the first episode. Based on her saying that Bo-Katan's going to unite the Mandalorians, part of me thinks, okay, well, maybe my speculation was wrong. But like I said, it was so abrupt. Her sudden change of heart. Like I said, maybe she just thought about the fact that, wait a minute, this is the woman who the mythosaur showed itself to. So maybe I should ease up on her beliefs. That's also possible. Maybe there's sort of a redemption arc for the armor as well to coincide with the redemption arc that I think Elia is going to be on. let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to discuss. I'm still waiting for Grogu to be on a mission with Din and have a Kuiper crystal call out to him. And then him having to try to explain to Din or Bo or someone of the Mandalorians that he's kind of got to go that way so he can get a Kuiper crystal and why he needs the Kuiper crystal. It's possible Bo understands it, possibly even Paz. We don't know how much he knows about lightsabers. It's possibly just knows that Tar Vizsla was the one who created the Darksaber, and that's it. Or he might know a bit more. We don't know. So yeah, I'm just waiting for when he gets his own lightsaber. And speaking of lightsabers, since I'm basically a casual Star Wars fan, I don't know if the colors mean anything. We've seen green, we've seen blue. I think I've seen red, but I think those are just Siths that I've read. But do the colors mean anything? What color lightsaber would Grogu end up having? I have no idea what color he would have because I don't know if they mean anything. So I don't want to say, oh, he's really emotional, so probably red, if it's only Sith that have red lightsabers, which I think they do. But I guess Grogu could break the mold because he's not a Jedi. He's very emotional. He's willing to do dark, for lack of a better term, magic. Like force choking, things like that. Throwing stormtroopers around like rag dolls. So yeah, I'm very curious. I want him to have a lightsaber, and I want to know what color his lightsaber would be. So yeah, I'm just waiting for him to be on a mission with Din, and it's like, oh, a Kuiper crystal's calling out to me. How do I tell Daddy this? Because I don't know if Din actually understands whatever language he's speaking. Because it sounds like baby coos, but it also sounds like he is actually speaking. Just that those baby coos are his language. So anyway, I think I've covered pretty much everything. So I will see you guys next time.